They don't ever contend with that. And I think that is disingenuous. Not saying you're disingenuous, but I think when you don't wrestle with these questions and you just, with some overarching theory, or there's other things in the background, yeah, I mean, it seems a little disingenuous that we can't talk about those issues honestly, right?
Okay.
So what? How do you contend with that?
You want more territory, and you've seen the line.
Again, so
you've seen the line move
that's
3 times.
Inconsistent with what,
No, it's not.
Yes, it is totally inconsistent.
Brian,
Hold on, I'm
every
talking
time they have a
specifically-
conflict,
Yeah.
every time they have a conflict, what's
Yeah.
the end result? What's the end result?
What happens with war, right?
What's the end result?
Land.
The border moves.
Correct. Welcome to the Below the Trees podcast. Thank you for joining us in today's episode. We're going to talk about exciting stuff. And I'm here with my good friend John and my co-host. How are you? How's it going? Cheers.
Kathy took my bear. She done
We
spilled
were talking about Kathy earlier. I don't know who Kathy is a placeholder for
Karen.
Karen.
Southern Karen.
Hey, we're changing it up here on Below the Trees podcast. I don't know if you've noticed, but we are physically, finally, below the trees.
Yeah, we are.
Tell us about that, John. How did this come about?
We're below the trees. Not much to tell.
We were supposed to make up a fantastical story about how this came to be below the trees. Well, we should say what the origin is, because maybe someone says they're watching here. What's this whole below the trees about? Like, why? That's such a random name.
It's supposed to be happening at the cabin.
It's supposed to be happening at the cabin.
Below the trees.
The trees of the forest.
In the cabin.
In the cabin.
Didn't happen.
First episode happened.
Yeah.
I think it was probably... We should probably still go shoot up there, do an episode there periodically, because that's the origin.
That's the intent.
I think logistically it's challenging. Hard. Difficult. Due to scheduling. And think about it too. It's like if we go shoot a 2-hour, an hour to 2-hour episode. I think if we were to go shoot at the cabin, probably a longer episode.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna use all the time we have there. But
right.
The flip side to that is it takes almost, depending on traffic, up to 2 hours to get there.
Yeah.
Setting up, relaxing a little bit because you're tired and from the drive, maybe getting some food.
Right.
And then doing the episode and breaking down. And depending if I have to leave or maybe we spend the night, it's just a lot of time investment. But it's beautiful. The cabin is awesome. So maybe we should invest that time in the near future for an upcoming episode.
Boys Trip
Of Below the Trees. This is the
Boys
Below the
Trip
Trees podcast.
edition.
It's brought to you by all 40, or how many viewers do we have last episode? Like 8? Or do we get bumped up to 10?
I don't know.
That's all right. All good. It was a fun episode. Tell us about, because I wasn't there. I wasn't privy to the conversation, and I have yet to watch it, with our friend of the pod, Jose, car extraordinaire. Tell us, how was that pod, man? It was a little bit different than what we normally do.
Well, he's never recorded anything, so it was getting his beak wet with just doing a pod. And I think we went for about 45 minutes, and we knew we were getting ready to shoot the car.
Yeah.
Video coming out soon.
Very soon.
Or no, it'd be out
Actually,
by then.
by
It'd be
the
out.
time,
It'll be
by
out.
the time this will be out
But
and about.
and rolling around like the car. He was just talking to me about how he got started with cars, how he got started building, and a couple projects, like the trajectory of projects.
Mm-hmm.
And he hasn't really talked about what he's currently working on for his own collection. He hasn't really talked about what we're doing, because there's a few that we have on board. Well, we did mention one.
Which one did you mention?
The Austin Healy. So
That's exciting.
we are planning to do the next episode when the auction for this BMW goes live.
Yeah.
And so we'll have the pod running and we'll record our reactions
While it's going live.
while it's going.
Nice.
So we'll see if it's a complete dud.
Yeah.
Or if it's
Does that possibility even exist? That
What?
It could be a dud?
Yeah. What do you mean?
Man. I don't know. I just
Of course,
because
that's
it's such a beautiful car.
It's the risk.
Yeah.
If it doesn't meet the reserve, it's not selling. So if it doesn't meet the reserve, then that means that both he and I were completely wrong
Yeah.
on this car.
Yeah.
And the market value is the market value for what it is. And
Yeah.
we're not going to be superheroes and pump it up to
Yeah.
something different that we think it's a lot higher,
Yeah.
which is why we're doing it. So that
Well-
would suck. The entire thesis.
Shoot and miss, baby. Almost like the Colorado Rockies. But hopefully,
Is that a
more like-
segue?
no, hopefully.
Is
it's
that
more
a
like
segue?
Los Angeles Dodgers. No. I actually want to stay on the car for a little bit.
All right, fine.
I thought so. This is the first time. This last week is the first time I saw the car physically and in person, and man, you guys did a terrific job. I mean,
Thank you.
It really just a beautiful car, has a classic look, but it's also unique too. It's like I think we were talking earlier in the week, or maybe yesterday, and you were like, "Oh yeah, people have said, is that a Datsun? Is that Nissan? What is that?" And it's like, "Oh fuck, it's BMW." Holy smokes, that's nice. And you look at it and it has such a like really cool 60s vibe. I think Jess made a good comparison. It was like, oh man, it looks like Mr. Incredible's car.
Yeah.
And that era was just like a really design wise across the board it still had that what do they call it, like mid-century modern look to it, and really like what you guys did. The color is nice. Is that the original color?
Mhm.
Okay. Color is nice, and what you did to polish it recently was, I just gave it a little bit of an edge too, I think.
Yeah.
And then we had and just so the viewers know, we shot this last weekend. We shot some pictures, and we took some video, and I think overall it came out both cuts were good, but definitely the second one I think was a little bit more appropriate, and the pictures came out really cool. I'm really proud of that shoot, and I think we did a good job. So hopefully it gets to where you guys want to go.
Yeah.
Because you're having a photographer come out.
Second time in a row.
Second time in a row. Are you having a photographer come out? It's or you're going to meet a photographer, right?
The shoot is supposed to be in Bel Air,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, we're paying for. It's on Bring a Trailer. It's the auction.
Yeah.
Auction house.
Don't mistake with the World of Warcraft auction house. A little bit different. Just saying for our World of Warcraft viewers who play World of Warcraft. Okay, so yeah, so talking about the auction house.
And they have two markets. One is, regular cars. The fee is $100.
Yeah.
And they kind of vet the car. If they like it, they think it's worthwhile, then they'll let you post it and make your reserve.
Yeah.
They'll write, a simple template of the history of the car, or what they know about it and whatnot.
Yeah.
Goes live. Bidding is for 7 days, and something like on the marketplace every week, anywhere between 10 to let's say 45,000 cars on the regular marketplace being sold
Interesting. Every week.
every week.
Oh fuck, that's a lot of cars. I didn't realize the volume was that high.
Yeah. And then on the premium side, it's closer to, let's say, less than 30, less than 50 a week.
How long? So is it still that? Is the
It's-
premium posting still only 7 days as well?
Correct.
Okay.
But it's $2,500 to post. You get somebody who is going to be a photographer in your area,
and that's supplied by the company, right? Included in your fee.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's no other fee in the premium side for selling the car, whereas they'll collect a fee from the buyer.
Yeah.
On the regular auction. So you're not paying with it, you're not dealing with it, but there's still another fee.
Yeah.
So that's how it works with premium.
Nice.
Premium typically are cars that are rare, high performance, custom, rare, unique, luxurious.
Yeah.
So it's something odd. I mean, I remember a couple weeks ago they had like a 1887 steam engine for sale.
Jesus.
And I think that sold.
How much did that sell for?
Like 950,000.
Good Lord. Was it like retrofitted or did it restore?
It was restored. Like it was
interesting.
Yeah. It's a museum piece. 100%.
Yeah, that's awesome. What railroad was it part of? Or was it like a U.S. one, or was it a European
No.
one?
It's a steam engine. So it's a car. It's still a car. It's not a railroad.
No. But who was it owned by?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
Interesting. Union Pacific. Get your mail on Union Pacific Railroad. Okay. Well, actually, this is an interesting conversation about the car, and maybe you can talk me through the economics of it all.
Okay.
Because it sounds like in order to get to the premium listing, which your car rightfully so, I think, based on the criteria you described, you need something that is unique. You need something that stands out. It's not just your normal run-of-the-mill car.
Sure.
That maybe had some production. So
no,
like
not even that.
Production.
No, that's not necessarily true. You could see, I think, I don't remember exactly what car, but it was like an example of something that had maybe 2,000 miles. Mm-hmm. But it was like a Honda Civic Type SI,
Yeah.
They're common. But because it had 4,000 miles rather, or a 1993 Mustang with 1,000 miles, or a race, like a pace car, right, that they used in NASCAR, and it's got 5 miles.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that. That's the common necessarily. Like they made a lot of those, but there's low mileage. Like that's the criteria that would make it extremely rare. It's a 30-year-old car with less than 5,000 miles.
Yeah.
That's rare. So that is one of the criteria pieces, right?
That's interesting.
So it doesn't have to be, something completely high end. It could just be something well taken care of.
Like a 2001 Honda Civic with 10,000 miles.
Maybe like 4,000 miles, 5,000 miles, 2,000 miles.
Interesting.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That will go for solid money.
Relative to Civics.
Relative to Civics from that era. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, well, so how do you come up with, because obviously you have a reserve. Sure. And for those who don't know what reserves are at the auction house, including the World of Warcraft auction house, is your the lowest price you're willing to go. Yeah. Is that, hey, we need this is what, at the bare minimum we want. Yeah. But how do you, because obviously if you invest a certain amount of money into a car like this one. Sure. How do you come up with like your price predictions for what you at least hope to clear?
Well, I mean, you got to kind of look at what's gone previously, so you kind of have a sense. But then, given it is an auction, given my intention of saying I believe it's worth more, I'm willing to take less money on a reserve. So I'm not guaranteeing much profit, but I am guaranteeing, or at least hoping, banking on people are going to be excited knowing the car is going to sell.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so the bidding war can happen. Right? So I don't want to put it at a price where I think it's actually going to be, ideal for my profit, because it might not get there.
Yeah.
But it probably might get there if you let it run, you have it a little lower.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like thinking that strategy, obviously talking with my partner, Jose, seeing what we think would be fair.
Yeah.
That if in the unlikely or unfortunate circumstance that the car is sold at the reserve, that we'll both look at each other and say, fine.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So obviously we do have our pricing of what it costs to fix the car.
Yeah.
That gets accounted for. And so thinking about all of those things helps us kind of find that target.
Yeah.
To say, okay, market's this, we think it's worth this, we think the reserve should be kind of like here. Yeah. So that hopefully it gives enough energy in the bid, in the actual auction, for people to let it run up.
Yeah.
That's the hope. So, I mean, like with the Fiat, that we sold, that one had quite a bit of excitement on the bid, on the bidding. There was a bidding war.
I remember that. Yeah,
were you watching it?
I wasn't watching it, but I remember you kind of talking me through like what was going on with that.
Yeah, so I mean, you had people who in the start were just like, I think it's 5 guys who were throwing down $500 increments.
Yeah.
Until quickly it was just like, okay, now it's 3 guys throwing down in $1,000 increments, and then throwing down in like $2,500 increments, until it was like, I want this car, and this is what I'm willing to pay for it. I'm willing to pay this.
And then it obviously reached that threshold for someone.
Yeah. So I mean, I think in that particular instance with that car, I want to say our reserve was 17 grand. Mm-hmm. And so after it hit 17, we're happy.
Yeah.
And it ends up going for, no, I'm lying. That's what he had it posted for. He had it posted for 17 grand. We had our reserve at like 21.
Yeah.
And it ended up going for like 26.5, something like that.
So does the car start at 0?
Yes.
Okay.
Every auction starts at 0.
Every auction starts at 0.
And in some cases, it stays relatively low up until maybe the last day or the last few hours.
Yeah.
That then the bidding starts. So everybody will kind of keep a lot of things low unless it's a car that, super desirable, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah, we were shitting our pants.
Yeah.
Because we thought, I think going into the auction, it was maybe $5,000, $6,000. So we're like, we're cooked. We're fried. We messed up. And by the time, 5 minutes into the auction, we're just like, oh, shit. Never mind. We might have a chance.
You're saying there's still a chance.
Yeah. Until.
So I actually had a question about that. So once the auction gets to a certain point, like a certain dollar threshold, does the increments automatically increase? Like,
no.
Or that's all incumbent?
That's all on the bidders.
Okay.
I've seen a bid where somebody said in the comments, I'm buying this. Like, flat out.
Yeah.
And I think it was maybe at like 15 grand. It's not really like a special car.
Yeah.
And like his next bid was like $6,500. And then another guy was like, he wrote in the comments, he's like, I'm out. He's like, I don't want to play with you. Yeah. You're here to win. Not
for just the fun of going back and forth. That reminds me of the old eBay days. When I was younger, I used to spend a lot of time on eBay bidding for certain things, like specifically like music equipment on the cheap.
Sure.
But then you put a bid in, you're number one, and then if you don't pay attention to it, hours or like maybe minutes before the auction ends, someone fucking outbids you, and you're just like, fuck,
I wasn't there.
I wasn't there.
Yeah, you got to be there. You got to be there.
You got to be there, 100%.
That's how this is.
So that's interesting.
Yeah.
I remember one time on eBay, there was a base. It was a bid. It was $25, and I bid. I won the base for $25.
Okay.
What I didn't see as a dumb 13-year-old kid,
noob,
the shipping was $125.
Right.
So that's where I remember winning that. I'm like, Mom, the base is only fucking $25. This is great. And she's like, okay, she was happy because I wanted to play bass, and she was happy we found a cheap bass because otherwise they're like $200, and only to pay $200 because the fucking shipping was expensive.
Right. Which bass is that?
It's my very first bass. I wish I still had it. Unfortunately, it just over the years when I stopped using it, I got my main bass. We're on spider watch right now. Well, that's the thing about Below the Trees, man. When we're outside, we're in the elements. We're in the thick of it. And we're
damn skeeter.
We got skeetos, we got flies and
Bill Gates' inventions.
Cockroaches and no roaches here, but we do got spiders. But spiders
Humans
are
eating
good.
dogs. They're eating dogs.
They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. They're doing all these terrible things.
Now they're bombing.
Now
now they're carpet bombing.
Yeah, I haven't done a Trump impression in a long time. They're eating the dogs in the mountains. That's where we got to send our best. But yeah, no, I got that bass at $150, man. I wish I still had it just as a memento.
Damn right.
That'd been cool, but I still have I got that bass in 2005, the beginning of 2005, maybe the end of 2004.
Yeah.
But I got the bass that I still own and use today in 2005, a year later. So that one was the crown jewel.
The one that's kind of the same color as the BMW.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a light baby blue. Did I tell you I restored it?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I spent a few hours just polishing it. I took all the stupid stickers off. I don't know why I did that. I know why I did it, right?
That was the scene, dude. That was the time. That was the norm.
But now it's restored to its
original
glory, with some nicks here and there, because that thing went through hell.
The Roxy.
Yeah, the Roxy, man.
The Whiskey a Go-Go.
The Whiskey a Go-Go. The Knitting Factory.
The Viper Room. Did you ever do the Viper Room?
Okay, never mind. I wish we played the Viper. We could have played the Viper Room. We played everywhere else.
Right.
The Viper Room would have been cool. Just considering all the history. I got some crazy drivers out here. It's probably a Dodge Charger. That's my guess.
Sounds like a Mustang, but
maybe.
Or Dodge. Yeah, it's a Dodge.
Now we're gonna hear his police sirens in a little bit.
No,
trying
I
to
don't
stop
think so.
this guy. Nah, just kidding. Okay, well that's cool, man. I really hope the car does well. It was a lot of fun shooting that thing and getting some quality video and photos out of it. I think the video will be posted.
Yeah.
Prior
tomorrow.
to will be posted tomorrow, which is
the itsy bitsy spot.
The 28th. With that said, you'll find a link in the description to that video, in the description of this podcast, episode 22. Something. I think we're 22 now.
22, 23.
Man, we're pushing ahead. We're still on that top percentile. We're trying to make it to the top 1%.
We will make it.
100 episodes.
We will make it.
And total listenership, or no, not listenership. Well, misspoke there. I'm trying to speak it into existence.
Freudian slip.
Freudian slip. No, in actual content creation. But I think you're right. You were talking earlier. I think with the show, we just haven't mastered social media, and that's our problem. But I also think too, some of the stuff we talk about, like the last couple episodes, just got totally derailed by the algorithm.
Well, we don't have the viewership for it to work.
Yeah,
I think that's the issue. If I'm being really honest.
We're talking pretty controversial things.
Well, no, I think that's another strategy. If I'm honest.
Yeah.
Because I have paid attention to other more controversial channels, right?
Yeah.
And so I think it's like the threshold is like if you're a solid 4 or 5 minutes in and you're keeping it kosher, keeping it clean, you know, nothing bombastic, nothing crazy.
Which this has been a clean episode, I will say.
Then you're right on target. Not a segue. All right, fine.
Right on target? Were you making a joke there? Right on target in the mountains.
They're eating dogs.
They're eating the cats and they're eating the dogs. And we took them out in the mountain.
We took out Benghazi like a dog.
Well, you know, we'll
like a dog.
I think that's a good segue. Good button. We had a pretty clean episode to this point. But now we're getting into it.
We're off the rails. Union Pacific has fallen.
Union Pacific has fallen. There was a bridge in Brooklyn, you know. I heard that saying recently. Someone was selling a bridge in Brooklyn. I don't know. I didn't know the reference. But anyways, we're about to jump off the bridge, right? Think of an old Western, and the bridge is out for the train, and the train is, you know, can't stop. It's going too fast. Come on, man. You can't stop. It's just going too fast. You know what I'm saying, man? Come on, man. And now we're going.
Where
Israel.
we going?
Israel and Iran war.
Oh no.
Is officially over.
Right.
In some, at least officially. What's happening covertly only remains to be seen.
Right.
But as of this recording, June the 27th. Yeah,
correct.
June the 27th. Several days ago, the United States sent 30,000 pound mob bombs. What is it? I think they call them massive ordinance or something. I don't know.
Mother of all bombs.
Mother of all bombs. That's a good one. And I saw a video on how these things work. It's pretty interesting. So these 30,000 pound bombs, they call them the bunker busters. And I'm not here to pretend that I'm any military expert or have any experience in this stuff. But the video I saw was fascinating. So this bomb, the way it's designed, it's almost like a drill. It burrows. So the test video that the Defense Department recently released, you see the bomb, and it goes through. It's designed for this purpose. Let's just be frank, to go through the mountain, really, to knock out the nuclear. We're at Top Gun Maverick right now. The bomb is designed to burrow through the ground without exploding. So upon impact, it does not explode. It burrows how many ever hundreds of feet, and almost like a drill. And then once it reaches a certain threshold, it explodes. So the video the Defense Department released, you see the initial contact with the ground, and you just see the bomb disappear. It just goes through like a warm butter knife and warm butter. Just slices right through the rock, and then once it gets to that certain point, it's just a huge explosion. I mean, 30,000 pounds of ordnance, which is a fancy term for the big one. And so my understanding is the United States dropped 12 of those bombs using the B-2 stealth bombers, who were on a 37-hour flight mission, which is pretty incredible when you think about it. They had multiple refueling missions over the sea, over land. And once they got into the airspace of Iran, they were met with other support vehicles and went they're on a bombing campaign. So I think the 2 bombs hit the main target, Fordo, so 60,000 pounds of ordnance. And my understanding, too, is that they went through a vent. It's like literally like Star Wars. You go through the vent, the exhaust vent, you destroy the fucking Death Star. And that's what it looks like they did at multiple locations. It is important to note Israel was already in conflict, so a lot of the smaller targets like Natanz and Isfahan, those facilities which have different parts in the production process for the weapons development, they heavily destroyed. But the U.S. said, we're just going to take it up a notch. We're just going to blow the whole goddamn thing up. And sure enough, they did. And the overall reports, minus some intelligence report, I think one specifically that has been talked about in the media, is that it's been an overwhelming success at destroying the nuclear capabilities of Iran. It's interesting.
It's not what the Ayatollah says.
Yeah, hey, we won. That's yeah. That these fucking guys, we won.
It's like Bush on the carrier.
On the carrier, victory. We did it, guys. Let's go home. That's what the Ayatollah's doing.
15 years later.
Hey guys, I'm recording live from my underground bunker, 7,000 feet under the ground. But we did it. We beat these guys, especially the United States. We got them. But no, it's just it's interesting. Maybe we'll get into the reasons or we'll do some analysis as non-foreign policy experts, just as casual observers in this hopeless world. But just the sheer capabilities of the United States military is pretty incredible. I mean, a fucking vent. You're just like, we don't really need this one because it's a vent. It'll take us right to the bottom. We don't need all the rocks. So you imagine a bunch of aluminum. If the aluminum was sentient that day, we're like, yeah, fucking man, we got air going through here. It's a nice day. It's hot outside.
It's always hot outside,
but
bro.
It's cool here. We're just the AC. And fucking all of a sudden you get a 30,000 pound bomb too, back to back. You're like, fuck, man. It's right in my asshole. Poor aluminum, right? Or whatever they make the AC vents out of.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm simplifying. Who knows if it was AC? It's probably some other vent. But I'm hoping it was AC because it's hot out there, And then prior to that, though, Israel had done a preemptive strike into Iran, targeting their nuclear facilities and as well as different leadership personnel within the IRGC, which is kind of interesting when you think about the footwork on the ground that it took to. I think at one point, Mossad had set up fake meetings, well in advance, and had a bunch of people attend these meetings, these fake meetings, only to be assassinated. IRGC leadership and personnel. I think one of the IRGC guys was killed. A new guy was promoted, and he was killed 4 days later. I'm like, the sheer groundwork that you've had intelligence operations to do something like that is also, it's pretty impressive, just from a military standpoint and intelligence gathering standpoint.
The killing machine is strong.
The killing machine is strong. I agree. It is very strong. And I think they reset the whole picture there, because I think for a long time, Iran, it seemed that they were posturing in a way that they were probably the power in the Middle East. And I mean, that's the way they were posturing. Now, is that always true? Obviously, this demonstrated that it wasn't. But I mean, now you have a reset of that whole picture, at least publicly, right? I'm sure Saudi Arabia is very happy right now.
Why?
Saudi Arabia and Iran are I mean, they'll pay lip service to Israel probably shouldn't have done that. Whatever. But inside they're happy because Iran and Saudi Arabia have been enemies and with one another for a long time. I mean, the Houthis, for example, is an Iranian proxy group that has been at war with Saudi Arabia for some years now. So I think that coalition of Saudi Arabia and its allies are generally supportive of what's going on, but won't say it publicly. Well, there we go.
I don't know. I mean, do you have cousins in your family that they don't talk anymore?
Yeah.
Because of
I'm one of the cousins.
Something happened,
Yeah.
and now they're just not talking.
Yeah.
So you can relate with that?
I think anyone can relate with that.
Yeah. I think that's basically what's happening there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a fair analogy. Maybe you
No,
understand.
it's the analogy
Okay.
that nobody
was talking about.
understands, because we're Westerners looking at a Middle East conflict.
Yeah.
We don't understand it.
Yeah.
And we're in a nation where majority is Christian, majority Catholic. We definitely don't understand.
Yeah.
Because our friend is Judaism.
Yeah.
As Christians. That's something that has been kind of constructed in the last 1,000 years or so.
Yeah.
So you can give me all the latest factions.
No.
And all the newer to become factions that will emerge. They're all fighting the same cause. And it's this conflict between family. And one is saying, I'm better than you. And the other one is saying, no, I'm better than you.
It's funny you say that because in my line of work, I've had experiences with, with people from the Middle East, from different countries.
Sure.
And different families. And you're absolutely right in that regard that there is this, I don't know if competition is the right word.
There's a classism.
Yeah. But
there's a bias.
I met two people that one was from, I think, the Kuwaiti royal family, and one was from the Saudi royal family. And there was definitely some tension there about who is better, who is, whatever the case may be. But, I mean, I'm not saying that is exactly...
Who's the king?
Huh?
Who's the king? That's the argument. Who's the king?
Yeah.
I'm the king. No, I'm the king. No, I'm the chosen one.
The chosen one.
Do you see? And what unites, like I mentioned earlier, the Christians and Judaism, this magnificent thing called banking.
Yeah.
Okay? And Iran, with all of its wealth and all of its population, doesn't pertain to any global banking system.
Yeah.
They're outside of the system. That's the threat. It's not nuclear. It's not that they're going to send nukes or... No. Nuclear is a way to become independent.
So okay. I'm going to let you finish.
Do we attack Russia directly?
Yeah.
Do we attack North Korea directly? Do we attack places that we know have something that we don't want to mess with?
No.
Okay. When America got attacked, Pearl Harbor, we then retaliated by showing the ultimate force.
Yeah.
But we needed an attack to show we have the ultimate force.
Yeah.
Okay. So what just happened? We tried to dismantle somebody who's saying, number one, by their actions, they're in all the nuclear committees. Israel isn't. Israel says they don't have a bomb.
Yeah.
But a lot of people looking at the world is saying, no, they have a bomb.
Yeah. It's one of those obviously known secrets.
So then why don't they join is the argument. Then why does Iran willing to join, but Iran is not willing to play ball with interest rates and the banking system?
Yeah.
And so let me just tell you how, if you were a Rothschild, what you would do.
Yeah.
You would create a war. and you would bet against them. And you would then wait until there's nothing left.
Yeah.
And then you say, hey, you need to rebuild, right?
Yeah.
I'll help you.
Welcome to the committee.
And so the strategy that Israel is using is a clear written strategy called the clear break, where they propose a war with 7 countries in 5 years.
Yeah.
By us attacking Iran, in effect, America has played a hand in all these 7 places. And all these 7
what are
places...
these 7 places, just for the listeners?
These 7 places
Yeah.
don't participate in the banking system.
Which 7 places are they?
Well, where have we attacked, Bryan?
I'm asking you. Tell me what 7 places are.
Yemen,
Okay, Yemen.
Iraq, Afghanistan.
Mm.
Where else? Libya,
Mm-hmm.
Iran. Where else? Syria.
Syria, yeah.
Are we missing anything?
That sounded like 7.
But we've made peace with Saudi Arabia. We've given them
Yeah.
a public stock company.
Yeah.
We know who owns the canals in the Middle East,
No.
and we're friends with them. So, do you want to play games? You want to play ball? What do you want to do?
What do you want to do?
And I think if we're taking a different approach, I think Israel was a little upset that Trump didn't stop by and visit. Or
Clarify that for me. Trump
when
visit
Trump-
where?
Trump went to Saudi Arabia and he was treated like a
Oh,
prince, and he
yeah,
was
yeah.
offered a plane.
A couple months ago now. Well, I was the Middle East trip. He went to Qatar or Saudi.
But he didn't stop in Israel.
He didn't. Yeah.
So let's take 2 approaches on that.
Okay.
One approach would be, okay, Trump is in such good position with Israel that he doesn't have to stop.
Yeah.
I mean, he moved the embassy to Jerusalem.
Yeah.
Almost fulfilling prophecy. And I think the other side would be, because he didn't stop, maybe there was an agreement in the back,
Mm.
and Netanyahu just said, fuck you. Now you have to play ball.
Yeah.
I attacked first, now you have to attack.
Yeah.
That was the agreement that we said. And if you're a man of your word, you're going to do it.
Yeah.
We weren't expecting to do this now.
Yeah.
I think Trump did say, I'll think about it in 2 weeks.
Mm.
And then the next day, 2 days.
It was like 2 days. Yeah.
So is all that coordinated? Is all that part of the CIA,
I don't know. That's a good question.
Mossad, all coordinating together? They were supposed to have peace negotiations on Sunday,
Yeah.
and they don't make it because Israel bombs first.
Yeah.
Is that coordinated? Is that Mossad?
Could be coordinated. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, but why? Why are we doing this? Why are we getting involved in a problem that stems back to 3 religions from one person?
Let me we'll kind of just respond to some of the stuff you were saying. So I think there's probably a lot of credibility in what you're saying with banking, with money, right? Obviously, you follow the money in a lot of these things, and there's something
it's
going on.
and us getting involved, following the money goes back to the World Trade Center.
Hold on.
That's following the money all the way back.
Yeah, but no, listen.
Literally.
What I'm saying. My question is because in reality, right? two things are always true. Like there's always different goals. There's always different subplots that affect something, right? If someone's involved in an accident, there's not just one reason for the accident. Maybe there's several reasons. There's a primary reason, but there's also underlying things that significant, maybe not as significant as the primary reason. But my question to you is contending with some of this. What do you make? Because a lot of what, because I've heard these arguments before. I've heard these things, and again, I don't disagree with all of it. But how do you contend with what the goal is in Iran, right? Because Iran publicly says things like, death to America, death to Israel, and not just in those terms, right? There's more than just that. Sometimes it's policy that they pursue. And so I think the problem I have with this whole kind of overarching explanation is it takes away agency from any other actor. Like, oh, it's this because of the money. It's this because of this, because of, the Netanyahu or whatever. Maybe that's a huge role. I'm not going to diminish that. But you're also, I think, when you say, not you in particular, but when that argument is promulgated, I think it takes away some of the agency from the actors involved altogether, right? I think, to me, is it reasonable, and I made this comment earlier when I was talking to your dad, if Mexico was publicly claiming, hey, we want to develop a nuclear bomb, and we're going to bomb L.A. because fucking, I don't know, ICE, whatever the reason is, I don't think in any right mind, any national security apparatus in the United States would not take them at their word and at least look into this issue and address it. So when you have a government of Iran who, I mean, let's be completely honest with ourselves. If Israel wanted to wipe out Iran, I mean, right, they have nukes. They could have totally done it. If Israel wanted to wipe out Gaza or any of its enemies as combatants for purposes of dominion or domination or whatever the case may be, I think you have to take into account, if we know what their capabilities are, it's an open secret that they have nuclear weapons. What's stopping them from using it if their goal is dominion, right? Because this is some of the chatter, right? Not all of it, but some of the chatter is, hey, they're looking for regime change. Sure, I would be looking for regime change in Mexico too if they're saying, hey, we want to bomb America and we want to kill Americans, just because, for whatever reason they want to do. How do you negotiate with that, right? If you're trying to have good faith negotiation with an actor who says, hey, we want to kill you, I think you have to take someone like that at their word until the whatever threat is diminished, right? And so I think from my vantage point, from my point of view, it totally seems reasonable that there are other influences on things, because I think, Howard Zinn had a chapter in his famous book, War is the Health of the State, and obviously there's big financial incentives, right? That I think, are going to be studied and evaluated through history. But I still don't think that takes away from real incredible threats of violence. And if someone, there's the argument that's been made that Iran having a nuclear weapon is a deterrent. It's self-preservation. It's all these things. But I mean, as stated, Iran could have been destroyed a long time ago, at any point, really, if we were looking at the capabilities of Israel and the United States. And by them choosing not to do that, I mean, I think that really shows more of our intent. Like, hey, we're not trying to destroy Iran, kill all the Iranian people or anything like that. But if they're actively stating, hey, we want to kill our neighbors, I mean, you have to take that with some credibility, if that's what they're saying. If I'm telling, hey, John, I'm going to punch you in the fucking face right now, I would assume that you're going to be like, okay, you're going to take some posture to defend yourself.
But I wouldn't kill you first.
Well, they didn't, though. So that's a problem. Israel did strike Iran home territory first. That's absolutely true. There's nothing wrong about that. But Iran also started this conflict on October 7th. that Hamas is a proxy. October 7th.
But we started that.
Hold on. Hezbollah.
We started that.
We started October 7th?
No. Yes.
Okay. Explain.
Where'd the money come from?
So you're talking about the freezing of the
Yeah.
United States freezing funds.
Yeah. Yeah. Whose money was who said
So
hold on.
okay.
We're playing a game, bro.
Yeah.
Here's what you're like. I hear your argument, but you like baseball?
I like baseball.
There's rules to the game.
For sure.
Okay. You want to own your home?
Yeah. Absolutely.
There's rules to you getting a game called a mortgage.
Yeah.
Okay. There's oil there. There's oil there that has been decided contractually.
Mm-hmm.
Real estate that has been divided long ago.
Okay.
And so Iran exists because we said we'll help you get your oil out.
Mm-hmm.
We'll help
We'll
Qatar
help, and a lot of the other
we'll help
oil-rich
you
nations.
get your oil out.
Yeah.
Why? Because we, America, the U.S.,
Yeah.
promised to buy it.
Correct.
Okay, that's the game. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you want to steer away from it,
Okay.
now we'll have problems. And so if you want to play baseball,
Yeah.
you got to show up in uniform.
Correct.
You got to have your cleats. You got to have your belt. You got to have your hat.
Yeah.
You have to tuck it in. If you don't have all that, an ump can say, get off the field. You don't have a number? Get off the field.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now, we're playing a game, and Iran doesn't have the numbers.
Yeah.
We don't know who we're playing with.
Yeah.
And so we said, you have to join the banking system. That's where you get your number.
Mm.
You don't want to play that game? Then we're not going to play ball.
Okay, so my problem with what you're saying, though, okay, we unfreeze the funds. But under the Biden administration, they unfreeze a lot of funds.
But hold on. I'm trying to tell you the root of those funds.
No, again, I understand that. But
Okay.
what you're doing, hold on. What you're doing is you're taking away agency from that country.
No, because we
Because why?
sanctioned them.
Okay.
We sanctioned them
Yes.
because they didn't want to play ball.
Correct.
So since they don't want to play ball, we'll freeze your money. You're not going to get your money.
Uh-huh.
We're going to hold it for you.
Okay.
Then we unfreeze that money,
Yeah.
knowing that there's no government that we can trust
Yeah.
to honor the contract, to
Yeah.
play the game.
Okay.
And so, what's the end result? Now, you can take that angle and say it's this chaos.
Okay.
And some will argue Netanyahu
Uh-huh.
is there helping to create these factions to say, I can give you some more money to make these things exist. Because he needs chaos. When you thrive off of extreme volatility,
Yeah.
you need chaos. So you need sanctions to say, you're not going to play the game right.
Yeah.
We have enough players. We have everything. We know who dude, we've been playing this game for the last fucking 50 years.
Yeah.
We know who the players are. We don't need to have the numbers anymore.
Yeah.
It's all the same guys. You really need a number today?
Yeah.
That's Iran's argument. And we're saying, no umpire, no field, no game. We're not playing.
Mm-hmm.
You're not getting paid. End of story. And Israel's there with us, protecting our interests,
Yeah.
the oil, the contractual
Yeah.
real estate, to do this. So, and the other argument, the other problem,
Mm-hmm.
is that our buddy, our friend, likes going around and telling other people, I'm the chosen one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm better than you. And there's a system that thrives off of it, that has thrived off of it for thousands of years. So you don't want to play ball? We'll destroy you so that you have to play ball. Because then nobody will do that. You know who we did that with? Cuba. You don't want to play ball with us? You don't want to do it our way? You want to run your own shit? This crazy, insane communism? Then we're not playing ball with you. We're going to just let you suffer. That's how we play.
Yeah.
So that's the argument. That's the reality. And it all goes back to Abraham, and nobody wants to talk about it. And that's why Trump named his agreement the Abraham Accord. Because 3 religions, Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, come from Abraham.
Yeah.
And if you know the story, and you know the story well, it's some hoe versus his wife, who's an old bitch.
Yeah.
If you really want to look at it that way. And this guy is a king with tons of women, but no children. And an entire group of people who follow him from Iraq. And they travel on foot, not by plane.
On foot.
Not by rail, not by Union Pacific. Into uncharted territories where they are the invaders. Because they say...
Who was there before?
Bunch of other tribes. Who hadn't been conquered yet.
See,
and so Abraham leads his people. His congregation. Followers of what I keep pressing on, the ancient Greek, which is the cult. It's a cult. It's worship. The worship of all this sacrifice, this, that, and the other, to gain this ultimate power, which he was a king who then wanted to move his kingdom further. He wanted to expand. And God told him, do it. You can do it. Have faith and you'll do it. And you'll get it done. And he created an entire religion with followers. Because that trip on foot, I think it's further than from here to New York.
Yeah, it's a long journey.
In the desert. You need resources. It's a lot of camels, bro. And you have to feign yourself off going off tribe by tribe. Then once you're there, now you conquer. That's the story. That's the reality. That's where 3 religions end up becoming from. And the third one, Christianity, forms itself in Rome. And it needs another empire in Turkey to be close to the Middle East. So we've always, as a religion, had their hands in this region. Also for banking purposes. Because if you've ever been to the Vatican, there's a lot of money there. And a lot of money that you don't know about is there too.
I'm sure.
And anywhere where you see that there's a Catholic church, they're collecting money there. That's an income asset. And it's in every city square, every city in Latin America, in Europe,
the United States,
the U.S. Think about it. It's a big business. And so are the other 3 religions, thanks to Abraham. The guy who got on his camel and rode very, very, very far distances to conquer. In the name of God, because God told him, do it. Just do it.
Do it.
Just do it.
I mean, I like I said, dude, I don't disagree with your analysis, but I still don't. I don't think that takes away from the facts on the ground now, right? Contemporary facts, and those facts as they stand. Maybe it's a cousin that's pissed off at another, and they're saying
technically it's a brother. I was using the cousin just to kind of not be so direct with it, but it is.
Fair enough.
It is.
So
it's
brother. It's these brothers that are upset with each other.
It's your stepbrother. It's your brother from another mother.
again, I think your analysis is good. I don't fully disagree with everything you're saying, but how do you? No one ever I hear on this argument contends with the reality of it either, right? I hear people all the time. They make these type similar claims, maybe not as deep as the religious claims extend. But I see all these times, especially when it comes down to banking. But how do you contend with the fact that one brother, in this case, wants to destroy the other one publicly, and is actively doing so, is actively attempting to do so? How do you contend with that? Because I haven't heard a good argument from that side of the argument saying, oh, well, this is why. They don't ever.
Again,
they don't ever.
I gave you the banking one.
Okay, no.
I don't think I can paint that any more clear. You need volatility.
Yes.
To create chaos, right? Rather, you need chaos.
No. But see, that is not contending what is happening on the ground. That's just not.
How is it not?
Okay, so you're saying the chaos, right? You need volatility. You need this volatility. Okay, I agree with you there. But who's creating that volatility? Because from what I understand, from what I gather, from what your argument is that Israel is manipulating all the strings in the back, creating this volatility on their own. And I just don't agree with that.
Okay.
I don't think that's fully true. Maybe they have a hand in it, sure. I would be surprised if they didn't. But, again, that argument takes away from the fact that you have bad actors, who are making decisions on their own, who are also contributing to this volatility independently.
But is it on their own, or is it with a motive? And you see, they don't even know that they're playing a game. They're in a game, and they don't even know it.
See, that's now you're getting very metaphysical about how you talk about these things. Because, no.
Does America give money to Israel?
Yes. They give a lot of money to other countries as well.
But I think we have an agreement, a contractual agreement, to give them a set amount of money every single year.
Yeah.
That is a contract that we have. And so that money is coming from where? Is it just coming from the bank or the Federal Reserve, and we're just giving the money?
Presumably the American taxpayer.
Okay, so we're paying for it.
Correct. But money is also being poured into Gaza from the United States. Money's being poured in all over the world.
No, when we sanctioned it, it isn't.
Well, prior to October 7th, money was funneling
and
from
I
the
think
United States.
Netanyahu was also
places.
sanctioning money to Gaza for other reasons.
Yeah.
So that helps instill that chaos.
Yeah.
If you live in Gaza, it's like they treat you subhuman. You're infenced.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
it's a bit ridiculous. I mean, if you are looking at the David versus Goliath story, or just who's the underdog here, and I like going with underdogs, because it takes more grit. You're seeing underdogs fight, but they're given piecemeal money to play with, $140 billion.
Okay, so then let's talk about that. So, if the people of Gaza in 2006 they were given that area, and they elect, was it Hamas ended up killing? I think it was what organ? I forget what. I think not the PA. Maybe Fatah was the I don't remember exactly, but Hamas gets into power in 2006, one way or the other. How do you make that all the money?
I don't think it's just one way or another. You see, like.
No. Contend with this for a moment. Hold on. So, how do you make it that you are given all this money, but you choose not to build an economy? Because let's be real here. Again, this goes back. If Mexico were actively putting bombs, who cares how effective the bombs were? In 2006, prior to the Iron Dome, there was some pretty heavy bomb attacks and casualties from Gaza into Israel. That's a fact. I'm very confident if Mexico is bombing us, it doesn't matter how many bombs, any bombs from the southern border, I can guarantee the United States is going to have a overwhelming military response. So how do you contend that all this money is being poured in there, and then it's not being used at all to build any what would be ideally a functioning state. So I hear the arguments. Oh, it's a open air prison, piecemeal, right? But since its inception as a independent area, and since Hamas has had political control over this area, it has been nothing but a combatant state. Nothing.
Sure.
So I hear what you're saying, and I can fully empathize with the underdog in this situation too. I think what's happening, people dying, is an incredible human tragedy, and I think it should. We got to figure out something here, but I think the problem, what I hear is Hamas is not given the appropriate accountability for their actions in this conflict, and then people who say this about Israel and during this Gaza conflict, they don't ever contend with that, and I think that is disingenuous. Not saying you're disingenuous, but I think when you don't wrestle with these questions and you just with some overarching theory. Or there's other things in the background. Yeah, I mean, it seems a little disingenuous that we can't talk about those issues honestly, right?
Okay.
So how do you contend with that?
To have terrorism, to have war, we've talked this many times, you have to have a war chest.
Yeah.
And so if you're trying to build a war chest, you're going to try to build up money however you can, wherever you can. And if you have enough motivation, be it religious, be it political, be it moral, if it then creates itself by fueling it, it becomes a revolution. Becomes a sentiment.
Okay.
Can that sentiment be created? Can that sentiment be influenced?
Sure.
I think 100,000% it is.
Yeah.
Us as Latin Americans understand how governments get taken from under and completely removed and thrown in with different dictators.
Yeah, absolutely.
How the first president of Nicaragua is a guy named William Walker from Tennessee. Because he incites a revolution from within.
Yeah.
Why? Because the U.S. knew there's resources that we need to conquer. And the only way we can do that is by installing someone that can govern with what we want them to do.
Okay.
So how is this any different? Now that you know,
just so I'm clear, the analogy you're making here, how is this any different from Hamas being the authority in Gaza? As
Israel being the authority in the Middle East.
Yeah.
And so when they say they're bothering me,
but that's no. I'm going to stop you there because that is not contending with the fact that bombs
Bryan,
are being hold on. Bombs are being sent in from a combatant state that chooses to do that. Now,
sure.
No. So
it doesn't get to that. It doesn't get to that unless you do influence. Unless there's a purpose to say.
What would be the motivation then? What resources? Because Israel had Gaza, right?
You want more territory, and you've seen the line. Again, you've seen the line move
that's
3 times.
Inconsistent with what?
No, it's not.
Yes, it is totally inconsistent.
Bryan, every time they have a conflict, every time they have a conflict, what's the end result? What's the end result?
What happens with war, right?
What's the end result?
Land.
The border moves.
Correct.
You need the border to move?
I mean,
what did we do with Mexico in the U.S.? Hey, we'll buy it. Oh, you'll send some of it? Okay, great. We have to fight for it. We have to create a conflict for it. We'll do it.
Okay. I'll agree with you on that point.
So
certainly the borders have changed, but I'm talking specifically about Gaza right now.
Because they're so desolate. They have no other resource. They have nothing else to do but to fight.
You're not contending with the if you
Brian, what I'm trying to say, no. What I'm trying to say is the entire world has turned their back.
No, that is not true.
Now,
even before then, that was not true, John.
Brian.
You're being that's. I'm not saying you're dishonest, but I think that is not accurate result of what the world is going on. Gaza gets hundreds of billions of dollars, or maybe not hundreds of billions, but billions of dollars of aid. It's a small area. But this is what happens. This is the byproduct. That money is not used for any development by the controlling political party of that area.
Like homelessness here?
No, but so
is that the same thing?
It's not the same thing.
Yeah, how is it not?
Because it's not the same thing because, and I'll tell you why. I don't think it's the same thing because Hamas is a political organization that was elected by the Gaza people, right?
We're fighting homelessness and we're throwing more dollars at the problem.
Correct.
Is it helping?
I mean, for the homelessness situation, no.
Okay.
But again, no, and I'll tell you, hold on. Let me finish what I was saying. So if you're throwing a bunch of money at the homelessness problem, what's the issue? I agree. I 100% agree with you. I think there is a clear parallel there. But what's the common problem on top of those things? Administration, right? We're giving hundreds of millions of dollars every year in LA County to various nonprofit groups whose overhead is so high that maybe 5% of the money that they get goes to actual homeless outreach. Now, that's a decision, right? That's an administrative decision that each of these nonprofits make, and they do it likely intentionally. I think the same is true for Gaza and the Hamas leadership. Yes, I think it's unwise to throw a bunch of money at someone who's not going to use it wisely. I agree with you. But
and I think that's what's happened.
But you're saying, but you're making a claim that the world turned its back, and that's just not the case. If you admit that all this money was sent in and it was poorly administered to create a terrorist state that fucking bombs its neighbors, yeah, I'm sorry. If you're, again, it goes back to the same analogy.
Keep going. because you're gonna end up. We're gonna have to say, okay, what happened with Afghanistan? Then why did we leave all the equipment there?
I wholly agree that the Afghanistan thing was
why did we leave the equipment there, Brian? Did we why? I'm asking seriously.
I don't have an answer for you. I don't want to pretend I have an answer.
It's the same fucking thing with what's going on over there. You know you can instill chaos when you just give little things here and there. You don't allow.
That's why I have a hard time accepting that premise that we're instilling chaos, because that, to me, is saying we as, I mean, I would probably assume that you would say the overlords, right, of this conflict are intentionally doing that with knowing that they're bad actors, right? Is that am I missing the point there?
Not be specific. The bankers who want this land, for more.
So my question to you then is, say that's true. What's stopping the people? What's stopping the leadership, the administration? What's stopping the homeless people, homeless nonprofits? What's stopping them from doing the right thing and not having conflict? So are we assuming that they're just uncontrollable? I mean, you know what I mean?
The problem's not getting any better here with homelessness.
I agree.
Not even if you're rich. If you're rich, you're homeless if you live in the Pacific Palisades. You can't build yet.
Yeah.
So we're just kind of squeezing people out who can't afford a mortgage there and rent somewhere else. Mm-hmm. Or they have enough money and they just say, you know what, I'll just wait. Yeah. I'll wait until the value goes somewhere else, until everybody else rebuilds. Yeah. The value is a lot higher, and then I'll sell. Yeah. If you can hold off. Otherwise, you're getting squeezed the fuck out. Yeah. And that's happening right here in your backyard, and you're not hearing an uproar about it. Yeah. You're not hearing arguments. You're hearing ICE protests. Yeah.
See, John,
but there's also a media cycle, Brian.
Yeah. Yeah.
That has to get created for you to be able to sit there, take what they're giving, accept it wholeheartedly, and then say, okay, this is how I feel about it.
Yeah.
That's media. Media does that. We've seen this over and over again.
Yeah.
And so if you can incite that into a people,
Yeah.
I'm not going to sound like an asshole, but I'm going to sound like an asshole.
Sound like an asshole, John.
I don't know if Gaza has a more sophisticated media programming system than China or than the U.S.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never been. Have
Okay.
you ever been?
Have you been to Gaza? I have never been.
Okay.
I like that.
But I do know from pictures,
Yeah.
it is very different now than what it was previously, to a completely disproportionate end,
Mm-hmm.
where the only way to fix it is rebuilding.
Yeah.
There's no going back. That's part of that chaos I'm talking about.
No.
Just like we had chaos here in the U.S. that forced us to now have to go attack the axis of evil, which in effect was 3 places, and all 3 were kind of duds.
Mm-hmm.
And it took quite a bit of time for that equipment to be there, laying out there. And if you're running Afghanistan
Mm-hmm.
and you want to make some money, you sell some equipment, you make some cash flow,
No.
you invest it doing some other stuff, you help find groups who need these.
No.
And who are those going to be? Are they going to be other governments that have in with NATO?
Mm-hmm. Probably not.
No. You're going to sell that to who else? Who needs it?
No.
All the terrorists. And you have stockpiles of it. $10-15 billion worth of equipment.
Yeah.
Plus an insert of 140.
Yeah.
You're given the war chest. You need another war chest to have a war. It was given to you.
No.
And you live in a society where it's utter chaos.
Yeah.
What do you think's going to come of it, Bryan? Like, for real.
I mean,
You're given all the pieces to, here, you want to have the ability to break in? Here's the bricks. There's a conflict. Police and everything else are distracted. Go for it.
yeah. I mean,
Human nature, unfortunately,
I don't-
is that dumb.
I
And-
don't. I mean,
You don't think people are that power hungry? You don't think people are after resources and land
I will.
to...
No. Hold on. Let me get what I'm saying. I'm just collecting my thoughts. I do believe, and I go along with what you're saying, that there are people who are obviously trying to profit off this. There is that power element. I don't disagree with that. I think that's a fairly cogent analysis of how things are done. But so obviously the bankers after World War II, right? I mean, they came in.
But we don't have... Hold on.
Hold on. Let's go into the analogy because I think it fits, right? Bankers in World War II, after the total destruction of Europe, by the way, a lot of people made money. Am I wrong?
Oh!
Am I wrong?
Tons!
But was the conflict not moral? Was the
Stop.
conflict?
This is where I'm going to the beginning.
Okay.
World War I doesn't happen until after the U.S. forms the Federal Reserve. Federal Reserve is created.
Yeah.
This is what I was trying to tell you.
Okay.
You have the Titanic. Now the people who were interested in not having a bank are gone.
Yeah.
They're dead. And their inheritors, they don't care about this issue like the people who did. Hold on. Just
I'm
play it
listening.
out.
I'm listening. I'm not interrupting.
Next year, Federal Reserve's formed.
Yeah.
2 years later, Rothschild letter gets formed. Year later, we're in World War I. Then World War II.
Yeah.
Then we show, because we get attacked,
Yeah.
that we are now the leaders of everything. And since we made all the money selling all the equipment for World War I and World War II,
Yeah.
we are the victors. We are the one in charge now.
Yeah.
That's what happens. But you have to have the Federal Reserve formed.
Yeah.
You need the Titanic ship to sink with these people on it.
Okay, but see, this is where my gut reaction is.
Abraham Lincoln didn't want the banking system assassinated.
Okay. Is that possible? That there's a direct correlation between centralized banking and the death of the sinking of the Titanic, or the death of Abraham Lincoln, or all these other events? Sure, it's definitely possible, but dude, that's an extraordinary claim.
No.
Yes, it is.
It's all about money, and I'm sorry to tell you, but it's all about money.
Yeah.
You're in this world, and it's all about money.
I just don't want to. It seems very conspiratorial.
No.
Yeah, it does.
It's all about money.
I'm not saying.
So you'll do what you need to make it.
Okay. I mean,
just like Lincoln lied his way to get into power.
Yeah, that's true.
As a mayor.
But see, that's something that we can actually look at and verify
now.
Yes.
But not at the same time when technology wasn't at the speed. He knew technology wasn't going to catch up to it. So yeah, I'll win this before he even knows it.
But you see how when you make a claim like, okay, all these people who didn't want centralized banking are on the Titanic, and suddenly the Titanic disappears. We have very good evidence that it hit a fucking iceberg, and then that's what happened. It sank.
Yes, but Bryan, they purposely said, let's all get together as rich elite New Yorkers and go on this journey.
For the first voyage of the world's largest ship ever.
Let's go. And a couple people right before it lets go say, oh, I got stuff to do. Sorry.
Yeah.
And the other ones continue. And the ones that get off, that's Morgan. That's the one who's behind the Federal Reserve to say, hey, guys.
So did he know it was going to sink?
Great question.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's an unknowable. You can't know that.
When you read the autobiography of this man, this man was ruthless.
I don't doubt that at all.
Ruthless. The most haunch person you don't want to sit against in business.
So okay, that
pure intimidation.
100%. What I've read about J.P. Morgan, yes, I haven't read his biography, but I have read some things, and you're right, absolutely ruthless. But if we're attributing motive and intent without facts, right? Maybe.
What do you mean without facts?
What, without facts?
He had tickets to go. He didn't go on.
I'm not saying that.
That's a fact.
That is a fact.
He held insurance.
Hold on. I'm not contending with that. I'm contending with the fact that we're attributing his motivation and intent for getting off the Titanic. Maybe he. I just don't know. It's
Bryan,
unknowable.
They knew if you had a bank, they would get so fucking rich.
But that's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about you're
that's
saying,
your motive.
You're saying that you're making an argument that he has some sort of maybe premonition of some type that the Titanic was going to sink and all of his competitors.
Not premonition. Intent. Full on intent.
So Morgan is responsible for the intent of sinking the Titanic.
100,000%.
I don't know. I mean,
and it's all about power. All about being able to become extremely wealthy. Look how wealthy they are.
Yeah.
Untouchable.
Absolutely.
The most elite of elite of elite.
No.
You bow down to them. Pure and simple, dude.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think there's a lot of points that we're in concurrence with, but
you see, the Catholics need Jesus to form a religion to now have an entire bank behind it. And all of the apostles, not all of them, but a lot of the apostles used to be tax collectors. So they know about banking. They're like, yo, we can take this guy's teachings and we can make a damn bank out of it. We can go far with this.
I don't know if that accurately attributes. I think there's probably some truth to that, but especially when you look at the early Christian church and how much they were prosecuted and murdered and martyred for their beliefs.
Because they want to make another bank. You need a congregation of people that you can now take 10% from. That's a lot of money, my man. Think about it right now.
I'm thinking about it.
That's why
I'm laughing.
How many people pay 10% in Latin America of their income to the Catholic Church?
I don't know. I wouldn't want to even guess.
I'm sure it's in the billions per week.
Billions per week?
Probably.
I don't think it's that much.
Really? You think we're poor?
No, I'm not saying I don't think it's poor, but I incomes are probably going down as of 2025.
Oh,
maybe if you look at the trajectory.
Bro, they're not just taking cash. They got stocks, investment, real estates. Yeah, billions per week.
No, I know. I'm not saying the Catholic Church, but no, you're maybe I misunderstood what you said, and maybe I just misunderstood that. You're talking about specifically Latin America. Billions a week.
Hell yeah.
I don't know.
Do you know how much money we send to there?
The United States?
Yeah.
Yeah, we send a lot.
And so you don't think a percentage of that ends up making its way to the church?
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it, but
all
billions a week.
We're
going there. How much a week does the Catholic Church get in Latin America? Oh man, this is a weird episode.
We're canceled.
We're totally canceled.
Let's do deeper search. Deeper search.
Next week we're going to talk about AI.
It's going to be here a while.
We're still in deep think.
Anyways, how you been, bro?
I had a rough week, man. I had a fucking rough week. I got no sleep.
Did you get your nuclear facilities bombed?
Well, let's just say my air vents aren't working anymore.
No more AC, huh?
No more AC. Fucking shit. It's hot in Fordo.
Yeah, we're canceled.
No, we're done. That was it. That was the last episode that we got any views. If we got any views. No, the last episode we did on the ice raids was the last episode we got views. There's going to be 0 on this one. But we opened up with a very friendly topic.
Yeah, maybe we don't include it.
I think this is the most contentious we've ever gotten on the show, which was good. That was fun.
Well,
my arteries. The Monte Cristo is actually nice, by the way.
Ken Burns was talking about why American football has overtaken baseball as like America's pastime.
Why is it?
Because it has everything that America loves. Extreme order.
Yeah.
And extreme violence.
Yeah. Although the violence has been tapered down over the years. Is it still thinking?
2 minutes in.
I think baseball total viewership, and it's only because of games. The quantity of games still has the most viewership in the United States. But again, it's only because of the sheer quantity. If you factor in like how many people watch a football game, the overall numbers are lower, but there's only a very, very limited amount of games. So percentage-wise, it's a lot higher percentage that end up watching American football.
What do you think about the mayor of New York?
I was actually thinking about where we'll have this conversation about him, but then it's almost like you speak about this person and in whatever terms, right? Whether you approve of him or disapprove of him.
So what's your sentiment, as
My
I was telling you?
I don't agree with a lot of the policy prescriptions.
Okay, like what?
I mean, his whole platform is redistributionism and things like that. He's a democratic socialist. That in of itself I don't particularly care for. I think that's going to be bad for New York. But I mean, who knows? Maybe it turns out really great, and he's the best mayor ever. That could be possible too.
Or extreme chaos, huh?
Or extreme chaos.
I was just thinking
Send the
about
bunker busters to New York.
Well, I mean that is the president's home.
Yeah.
And you got somebody who's not bowing down to Israel.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I don't know. Did you see that clip of the mayor debate?
No.
When they were asked.
I didn't watch it.
It went. Still thinking. 4 minutes in.
They're like, "Fuck, this is a weird question." Should I even answer this?
Sorry, lost connection.
What were you saying though about the debate?
They said, okay, if you have a vacation as mayor, your first vacation, where are you going? And like everybody was saying, I'm going to the Holy Land. I'm going to Jerusalem. It was my 7th time. It would be my 7th time returning to the Holy Land.
Yeah.
And this guy was like, I'm staying in New York. Like, I'm staying in the boroughs here and talking with my people here. And then the follow-up question was like, so then do you believe in Israel? And he's like, yeah, but I'm staying in New York.
No. Yeah, I heard a couple speeches from him, and it's not like he said anything that was totally extreme or anything that got under my skin or anything, but just looking at his whole platform, I don't agree with the platform. He seems to be the sort of the AOC Bernie Sanders wing that are making headways, but it's just like a part of my issue with a lot of like the left wing response to just every issue, right? Mm-hmm. Whether it be Israel, whether it be trans issues or the economy, it's all, I don't know, it all kind of stems from the same place in a lot of ways, that the U.S. is a historically terrible actor and needs to be overthrown. And I don't know. I don't like that. That's where I feel like you could trace the roots to a lot of those actors and a lot of those politicians to that. And it's just, I mean, and it's not unique to the left or the far left, or you see it on Republicans too. There's just no critical thinking. There's politicians are supposed to be the best among us, and they parrot the same thing. I mean, you watch. I remember watching a congressional hearing, and each senator asked the same exact question. I'm like, what is this? I
hit the softball. Here it comes. Here it comes. Here it comes. Ah!
Well, no, it wouldn't even.
Okay, here it goes again. Here's it goes again. Here's it goes. Good. Ah, you hit it. Yeah.
Well, no. Like some of the senators, I think it was the one I'm thinking of specifically is when they were talking about the second, or was it the first, or one of the Trump impeachment things, and it was over the conversation he had with Volodymyr Zelensky back in like 2019. Volodymyr Zelensky, and he, basically, Trump was saying, hey, we're going to withhold aid. That's what I think that was.
Oh, another sanction, huh?
Yeah. I think that was...
big dick policy coming into action.
Yeah, because Trump was saying, hey, I need you to investigate Burisma for Hunter Biden. So they were trying to impeach him, and then every question from every Democratic senator was...
Niet.
Was the I don't even remember exactly what the question was, but it was just fucking the same exact question to the same individual. I'm like, guys, like, at least you guys are supposed to be the best among us. Why don't you ask at least a slightly different question?
Try,
yeah, just
try.
Maybe even change the fucking words.
You went to law school, right?
Yeah,
just one of those classes. 2 years must have done something.
And I think that's the problem with the politicians.
3 years, sorry.
Yeah, that's about the problem with all the politicians on both sides is it's a hive mind, it's groupthink. There's really truly no independent character that has any.
Thomas Massey.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's no truly independent character with, I think, a shitload of influence that can move the needle.
Thomas Massey.
We'll see.
No,
I think people speak out and stuff, and
because you're not part of the clique. You're not part of the crew. You have to join the crew, the clique,
Yeah.
the group, whatever. You have to get in with that influence.
Yeah.
And so usually, and I know this because I know some people who know some people who know some people
I
in
know a
Washington.
guy who knows a guy who knows a guy.
In Washington.
In Washington, D.C., this wretched hive of scum and villainy.
It's like, oh, you want to have dinner with that guy? Yeah, I know him because so-and-so
Yeah.
knows him from this other
Yeah.
thing that, we give money to, and so we'll have access to him. Like, when do you
Yeah.
want to talk to him? Oh, you
Yeah.
want to meet with this guy? Yeah, I know the guy who knows that guy. Like,
Yeah.
because it's so easy to buy them.
Yeah. I hate that.
They're lawyers who have a per hour check in, check out wage.
Yeah.
That they're more than happy to accept what you got. What you got for me?
Yeah, there's some reform that I think could happen. I mean, it's never going to happen, especially with lobbying. I mean, I think the most basic one, I don't know if it goes even far enough, but, obviously when a lot of these guys leave government after, X amount of years, they become lobbyists for whatever group, and they exercise all the connections they have. And it's so shitty, dude. And I think the most basic reform that I heard is probably, I wouldn't even say it's politically palatable, because obviously that will cut into a lot of people's bottom lines, is that 10-year ban on lobbying after your years of service in government. It seems the most basic thing you can do. I don't even know if it would address the concerns or what kind of loopholes would be around it, but
See, we gotta think more like, some Nordic country where, like,
yeah.
Just play this idea with me. Imagine, Brian, if you will, Gavin Newsom in Section 8 housing while he's governor, but
Yeah.
he has to move from place to place, every 2 or 3 months,
Yeah.
just so that he gets a real sense of being with the people
Yeah.
as part of his term. Like, he'll have 1 year.
Yeah. Well, no.
1 year.
I think that's a fantastic idea.
So that way, every Section 8 place will kind of now have to increase their living.
Yeah.
Because more than likely, homeboy who's sitting in his $9 million house currently, his latest $9 million house,
Yeah.
is not going to enjoy some of the finer facility things, amenities that we have to offer.
Yeah, I mean, that ban on lobbying, I said, I think that's just a Band-Aid. I think that could be the bare minimum, but it's something like that, man, for our politicians to actually experience what life is like on the ground. Because, I mean, you're going to get, if you're actually in the field and you're with normal people, I mean, you're going to get
a real
sense of what is actually the concerns. You're going to get a real diversity of thought.
How do you fix the bottom?
Yeah. I mean, that's a fantastic idea.
But nobody's going to do it. Nobody has the balls to do it. Nobody's going to be willing to do it.
It's not even the balls, I think.
Oh, it's balls.
I mean, no. I don't think it's the balls. I think it's the greed. Because think about it. Joe Rogan says this all the time. He was like, our political class is basically a bunch of clowns, but it's also the most psychopaths. It's the people who have, the greedy ambitions, right?
Sure.
So I don't think it's a matter of balls as it is the people who are actually getting into the political sphere. They have no intent or desire to change anything because it benefits them.
Such as Netanyahu.
Now, again,
who's been in power
for a long time.
Since I was technically, I think, maybe still in the freaking cradle. Which is insane to think about.
Yeah,
because
I thought about that the other
since
day.
we are from places in Latin America, that's normal in many cases to maintain the price of bananas. That's why we call it a banana republic.
Yeah.
We have a dictator to make sure that the price of banana doesn't go up.
Yeah.
And that's what he does. That's his job. He's our boy. Just like they said about Somoza. He's a son of a bitch, but he's our son of a bitch.
Yeah.
That's Roosevelt.
I remember that.
You see?
Yeah. I see it, dude.
So how's to say any of that has changed?
Yeah. I'm not saying it is changed. I think where we're disagreeing on I think on the whole broad scope of conflicts.
I'm just trying to highlight Israel has that influence to do all these manipulating moves.
Yeah.
They have that ability. They have that influence, and they've had it for a while.
Okay.
And to think that terror just stirs up out of nowhere.
I don't think it stirs up out of nowhere. No one's saying that. I think the terrorism, there is a starting point for sure. If you are unhappy that Israel got a state, that's a starting point. If you hate the Jews, that's a starting point, because that exists. That's a real thing. I'm not one of those people who blankets everything anti-Semitism, because I don't think that's true. But I think you can absolutely be critical of Israel, and should be, without saying,
no, you'll get
anti-Semitism.
canceled.
Well, regardless, right? But I think you'll get canceled. I think the paradigm is much different now, where what we're talking about, I think what the alley you're coming from is certainly far more mainstream than it's ever been. And I wholly don't think, if the whole podcast was us in the same agreement, I don't think it would be that much of a sticky topic where we would get 100% canceled. I don't think so. Just to seeing where at least the left is at on this issue too. But I think my where I'm at, or maybe I just haven't gotten there yet, but I still can't. I don't think the contention that everyone here is being manipulated fully sticks. Sure, I think maybe there is manipulation going on. Maybe who knows what the scale is, but it doesn't take away from individual actors and their own and their own decision-making process. The homeless organizations here, the analogy we were using earlier, they could totally make a decision to do the right thing, but they don't.
Because it's profitable not to.
Sure.
So it's profitable to be a terrorist.
Sure.
If you don't do this, then there's no other economy for you. So screw it.
The other economy,
bring the gravy train,
could be there, should be there. I mean, look at Saudi Arabia, right? Saudi Arabia is
different context.
Well, I mean, it's still I think maybe not exactly applies, but if you have economic development, you move away from these ideologies. But if the ones who control the top refuse to bring in any economic development with the resources that, let's be real here, they're not developing anything, right?
Well, I think that's another point of contention.
What?
And I think one of the arguments is they found oil.
In Gaza?
They found oil.
Okay. Well, I haven't heard that, so I don't want to argue with that, because I just don't know.
And so it goes back to the same thing.
Yeah.
Imagine, just imagine. You hate your brother, your stepbrother.
Mm-hmm.
You try to beat him down. You get money from somebody else to help you out. They're getting money from somebody else to help them out.
Yeah.
But now they have more resources because they just literally found oil. Nobody's going to want to help them get it out.
No.
Because Israel says, that's in my backyard. And it's under my divine right by God to entitle myself to this land.
Yeah.
Because this land was mine. So now we're reclaiming it.
From 2006?
And Trump wants to build Miami Beach in Gaza. So long as we're able to do a little bit of Long Beach. Drill, baby, drill.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, I don't want to argue with that, because I just don't.
But what if that is the case?
I mean, it's interesting.
Does that throw a curveball in this? Or does it all of a sudden say, oh, so it is about money?
Again, I don't disagree with you that there is that money element in there. Of course, this is the world thrives on money, right? The world is money. I don't disagree with that. The reason I think there is still multiple causes for a conflict that if you say, hey, it's just this reason, I just don't agree with you, because there is multiple reasons. I think had decisions been made differently in the past, the outcome would have been different.
Here's another thing, though. I'm telling you it's the oil. You want to know another reason why it's the oil?
Okay.
Putin is having an own oil thing with Ukraine.
Uh-huh.
And since Europe went so far left with ESG, they stopped having their own energy. So now they need Russian oil.
Yeah.
And so that is a bigger threat. And if now all of a sudden Iran's there and nobody wants to touch it because everyone knows it's a mountain and it's difficult to put boots on the ground.
Yeah.
Because if you do, it's mountains.
Yeah.
Can't just move shit around. It's going to be tough.
Yeah.
And then secondly, there's oil, dude. There's fucking oil, dude. There's lots of oil. There's lots of oil that nobody's taken out yet.
Yeah.
In a few places that now you need to secure.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally there's a contractual agreement that we're supposed to secure it. It's in this region, that's us.
Mm-hmm.
By any means necessary. Because it's in the contract. We wrote a contract for it. So we're just exercising our contractual obligation.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's all reasonable.
Sorry, maybe the public doesn't want it, but hey, LAX is growing so fast, we got to tear out a couple neighborhoods. I know you guys don't want it, but we got to do it because these planes are getting big. So, eminent domain. We'll just come in and just say, screw off. This is ours. They don't have it that easy.
Yeah.
There needs an entire story narrative, and everybody needs to be either for it, against it, or indifferent. But you need to have a story for it.
Yeah.
So that then it can play out. But if there is no story, now you're a terrorist. Now you're an animal. You don't care. But if it's long, drawn, and slow bleeding, now that makes sense. Well, it's easy to swallow. You don't expect the money to come in all at once. You want it to trickle in. So slowly over time, you keep amassing further and further and further and further. Otherwise, it looks like you're just stealing. But if you can frame it, now you're just playing defense, baby.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't.
I lost you.
No, I think you may, I mean, it's very interesting what you're saying, and
it's unfortunate.
It's interesting.
It's unfortunate. No.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate because it's just greed. It's just an ultimate desire to maintain resources for the good and the good of yourself, for your own economic stability. Because if we do allow Mexico to come in and bomb us, I mean, what is that? What are you doing with that? Like, what are you trying to do?
What is Mexico trying to do?
I think really our first initial reaction wouldn't be to fire back at them. I think our first initial reaction would be to sanction the shit out of them, then fire the shit out of them.
I don't know. I would probably disagree with that. I think we would react very swiftly. See, so I still don't think that holds up completely with the fact that had different decisions been made at different courses of period of time, we wouldn't have this outcome. And that's just a fact.
So, I mean,
we can play counterfactual in the sense that,
hey, Iran was trying to do peace, but they got killed before even getting to that table.
Trying to do peace. They weren't. That's not, I think, an accurate description of what was going on.
But they were sending people to talk, dude.
Yeah, they were sending people to talk, but the stated goals and what
you see, and that's where at the table it now talks about what are they going to talk about, Bryan? What are they going to end up talking about?
Oil.
Oh, we're here arguing with you because you want this percentage and we want this. So no, how about this? We just kill them. Get rid of them.
But they're not killing them. They're not getting rid of them. They killed military leaders. They killed political leaders. But the government has its stands.
I think those are I think those might be the negotiators.
Maybe not. I don't know exactly who was all killed and what role that they played, but the government of Iran still exists. And if it doesn't exist later, I don't think it's going to be. Maybe the domino tipped, but I don't think we're going to be administering that.
Now, knowing our history as Americans, especially as Nicaraguan, there is a thing called the Iran-Contra.
Yeah.
So we have a history of doing weird deals.
Yeah.
For weird favors. You don't want to play ball this time? Okay. We warned you. We tried. Yeah. They tried. You didn't want to. Sorry. We had to do it. It was for the good of everyone.
Yeah. So let me ask you this then. If we're going to play
contracts. My answer is contracts. Final answer.
For everything?
It's a contractual agreement that Grandpappy Bush did.
I think...
What's your question, bro?
No, my question is, all things considered then, should Iran have a nuclear weapon?
Really? Nobody should have nukes.
That I'll go along with. But that's not the world we live in, right? The world we're living in right now is
Brian,
is Iran.
I'm giving you the answer.
Okay,
the reason they want to have nukes is so that they don't have to join a bank. You want to do business with us? Fine, do it this. But I'm not joining that. I don't need that.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I don't need that. I'm producing my own energy.
Yeah.
So, but, I mean, think of the brilliance. Like, really, think of the brilliance. You develop a program to have independent nuclear energy while you have a bunch of oil that you yourself haven't even tapped into.
Yeah.
That's why we also keep doing what we do, because we have lots of oil here in Texas, lots of oil here in Oklahoma, Wyoming, Montana, you fucking name it, South Dakota. Bunch of places, LA, Inglewood.
Signal Hill.
And we don't sell it. No. We keep it. We buy up oil from other places to help run the system. So that's the game. That's how the game works.
How much oil comes from Iran to the United
20%.
States?
I think 20% of the world's oil comes from Iran.
No, but how much to the United States?
Bro, I don't know. That's a ChatGPT question, and we got an answer.
Oh, we got an answer for how much?
It happened long ago, but we got lost in the weeds again.
What's the answer?
So you have to include the U.S. and Latin America to get to the
fair enough.
The near bill.
I think that puts us in the B's then.
It's 800 when you go that route.
800 million?
800 billion a week.
800 billion a week? No. That's
right. Oh, million.
Okay.
Weekly though. Bro, weekly.
I'm not saying that isn't a lot of money, but you said 800 billion. I'm like, whoa, wait a second.
So, yeah. You have to put the two together, though.
Okay, see, that didn't answer our original question.
It was 370 some odd million. And it took, 4 minutes to get to it.
Good Lord. On that note, I think it is time to wrap up. I think because I got to get going soon anyways.
Oh.
Yeah. I looked at the time. It is nearly 5 o'clock.
There was something I was going to tell you.
Yeah, do you have any closing thoughts? So I was going to leave it to.
Yeah, but I forgot it.
Dig in that deep mind of yours. Deep thing.
Buffering.
Maybe the conversation we were having right before this ChatGPT was how much oil Iran gets. Maybe that.
Well, we can ask that. We'll end on that.
How much oil the United States gets from Iran annually. Or what percentage does it account for the U.S.'s oil imports?
Yearly.
Is this going to be a deep think?
Always. It's not math. We don't have to think.
Yeah. Well, while we're waiting for that,
The Colorado Rockies.
Colorado Rockies still not doing well. I think on our last pod, you and I together before Jose, it was a little over a week ago, maybe almost like 2 weeks. They were 12 and 50, whatever. They had 12 wins, total wins. And as of today, they have 18. So we're on 20 win watch for the Colorado Rockies. We're hoping to make 20 wins at least in the next 10 games. A historically bad team. This might go down as the worst team ever, right?
Yeah. What do you think about the Devers trade?
Oh, I heard about. I didn't. Who did he go to? I saw that he was traded, but I didn't see where. I didn't really look into it.
San Francisco.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Who did the other team get in return?
I don't remember. Like a couple pitchers, a couple prospects, cash.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. I think the Dodgers have a pretty good grasp on the division. Yeah, it's funny. I was talking to someone who's an Angel fan, and they're like, "Oh, the Dodgers lost today. They must have not been trying." And I don't think that's the case because that's just not really baseball. Obviously, baseball is doesn't matter how good you are. You can go 0 for 4 in a game and lose.
Or win.
Or win, yeah. It's in that sense, that's why it's my favorite sport. There's just so much to it. It's a great game. But
and there's so much about fairness.
Mm-hmm.
And it being a skill game.
Yeah.
And so you have to respect not cheating.
Yeah.
Which is why everyone, went up in arms with steroids.
Yeah.
When really everybody in that era was on roids.
Yeah.
And from athletes that I know and coaches that I know who knew people or took it themselves tell me you need it to do the 162 grind once you get much older because it's hard on your body.
Yeah.
And it helps you not for strength, but for recovery. But if you were using it in the off season, you were going to get yoked.
Yeah.
But if you're using it just to keep your recovery good, then you'd stay great.
Yeah.
The whole season. You wouldn't have dips of you getting tired or your legs are tired. And instead of you hitting 325, you're hitting 250. So instead, you kept hitting
325.
Maybe you even got a little bit higher because you got pep in your step now. You're not tired anymore, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just hearing that, I was like, huh, interesting.
What's funny though,
and how America hated on it. So
after the fact,
once it became obvious,
yeah,
right? Oh, everybody.
But it's interesting though. In retrospectives, I was talking to a coworker, who went as a kid to, I think it was a Cubs-Cardinals game, and Sosa and Mark McGwire in their home run hitting primes. What a game. I mean, just the chance of being there when these two stars are at their peak, fucking hitting bombs.
Yeah.
That it was a spectacle to be a part of, or Bonds and McGuire and all these. Watching those guys, is different than it is now. There's certified superstars in baseball, but is it the same level or mania that you'd had around other players back during the Roy days? I don't know. I don't know.
So the U.S. only buys about 1.7 million barrels, which is maybe
a day, right? Or
no,
a year?
a year.
Oh shit.
So nothing. They don't support them at all.
No. China. I think China's the biggest consumer of Iranian oil.
And that oil is also mixed in with another country's oil.
And
Venezuela. Because the entire world sanctions them now.
Yeah.
So we basically, the U.S. switches, and it's a very clear shift from supporting Venezuelan oil to now buying Saudi Arabian oil.
Yeah.
And that's where all the money goes.
Yeah.
And that's where you see Dubai become a desert into
An oasis.
a glass and metal oasis.
Yeah. Well, on that note.
Still trying to figure out how much oil they're worth.
Oh. How much oil Iran's worth?
Yeah. Know who you're talking about.
Like how many gallons?
Know who you're
barrels,
talking
I mean?
about.
Huh?
Know who you're talking about. Because I don't know who we're talking about.
I don't know, Dick, man. I'm not a foreign policy guy.
This is a comedy show. Comedy. Capital comedy.
We're capital comedy. We weren't really laughing today. We were at each other's throats.
It was all an act.
It was all an act. We're still friends. We're not going to disavow each other because of a discussion. That's not this show. That's not our friendship. We've known each other, what, fucking... God damn. No, probably close to 30 years. Good Lord. It's weird to say that, you know? You're pushing your 40s and you're like, good Lord.
I've known you longer than your sister's known you.
Yeah, not in your case, but definitely in my case. That's actually a funny way to look at it. I love it. Did the deep think come?
2 minutes.
Oh boy.
Still calculating.
Well, I'm going to preview next week's episode while we wait. But
Please.
AI 2027. Did you read that article?
I got to finish it.
It's a long one.
Yeah. Well, not really. I just got to actually read it.
No, I mean,
I've perused it.
It's a long one because it keeps, like, once you start reading it, there's, like, little subheadings that just get more information to you. But previewing next week's episode, AI 2027, it's a tabletop scenario, let's just call it that.
Okay.
Of AI's potential development track from today, summer 2025, through 2028, and where there's some crazy shifts, you know. And as you read the article, it's interesting because there's a graphic that shows you where AI is at in terms of level of human intelligence and where it rates.
Okay.
And as it gets closer to 2027,
right,
it just becomes more and more advanced. And it's pretty interesting. But the scenario really followed on it ends with following two different tracks that the world can take, whether if they approach a safe version of AI or the unfettered version of AI. And it's using they use fictional companies in their thing, but obviously they mirror real companies. Deep Brain, wonder who that is, and what is it? What's the other one? No, Deep Scent and Open Brain. So those are the two fictitious companies in the article.
And they don't want to talk about PCs, I guess.
They don't talk about what?
PCs
instead
of Gemini.
Oh yeah. They talk about PCs, right?
Just mix it at different horoscope.
Yeah.
Or you call it Libra or Leo.
I'm trying to think. Did they? I don't remember now. I got to reread it, but we'll talk about that next week.
Okay, let's see these final results.
All right, final results.
I'm trying to really reel in some actual ideas here.
And ready, go.
Okay, so I asked it, give me some GDP numbers then.
Okay.
Of Iran, Israel, and Palestine. Just to see what we're actually talking about. Palestine, nominal GDP in 2023, 18.6 billion.
Yeah.
Israel, 513. 500.
Yeah.
13. Iran, 418. So yeah, they're a big threat economically. And they've been a big threat. 90 million people live there.
Yeah. 91.
Excuse me.
Actually, never mind. That's a terrible joke.
On that note,
I was specifically RGC, right? They don't live there anymore. On that note, good God.
and the economies are different. So I mean, Israel's high-tech, pharmaceutical, diamonds.
Yeah.
Palestine's agricultural, textiles. And Iran's oil, gas, petrochemicals.
Yeah.
So, yeah. If you're trying to be a ultimate ruler, those are the different agricultures you need.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what else are we missing? Oil, gas, tech, pharmaceuticals, diamonds, agricultural, textiles. I mean,
it remains to be seen.
that's the whole thing, bro.
On that note, we can finish the discussion next week.
That's the whole pie. Don't eat the whole pie.
On that note, John, it was damn good talking to you today.
God commanded me.
It was damn good talking to you today. I think we went through closing thoughts, but I will just say this. I really enjoyed our conversation. Even if it got hot and heavy, and we're probably going to be the only ones that watch it.
Shit.
That's all right. I used to say 34 viewers, and then it dropped to like 14 viewers, and now we're at 2 or 3. So.
Yeah, so stop highlighting it. Let's just act like you got billions of followers, like
billions of followers,
like religion does.
I think we're the shit. To all our many mountains of fans out there, we're also accepting 10%. But on that note, John, thank you for a great conversation. This is the Below the Trees podcast. Thanks for checking us out. Please do all the normal YouTube things. Like, comment, and subscribe, especially if you joined this conversation. And just remember, check out our car link. We forgot about that. It got lost in this conversation.
Lost in the sauce.
Check out the link to our latest video. We don't even have a title for it yet.
That's what we need to talk about.
We'll talk about it.
We need to
But
come up
check
with
out the link.
2 titles.
The BMW Luxus. Check it out.
We're gonna publish both. Let's publish both.
We're going to publish both.
Yeah.
Both cuts.
Yeah.
The deep cuts.
Ooh.
All right. On that note, we'll see you next time. All right. I'm going to do the intro.
Don't do the intro. I'm scared.
All right. Hey, welcome to Below the Trees podcast. We got a really fantastic show for you today. Probably one of the heaviest conversations I think we've ever had on the show, huh? Right? Probably one of the most contentious conversations we've ever had on the show. Maybe not the deepest or the heaviest.
No, I think the second one was pretty good too.
Yeah?
The lost episode.
The lost episode. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. It was a deep conversation. Anyways, we got a great show.
I think we highlighted all those problems then.
We get into the second deepest conversation that we've ever gotten on the show.
It might not be published.
Might not be published. Not because of us, but because something is going to just shoot our computer and destroy the cameras and the memory card, and we'll never have a chance to edit it. So if you're seeing this, you're one of the lucky ones. But yeah, so we talk about, number one, John's new car. Beautiful car. Economic investment project of sorts. Beautiful, beautiful car. And we also get into some really hot topic involving Israel, Iran.
Air conditioning units.
The banking system, Rothschild, JP Morgan, The Works.
Titanic.
We touched Titanic again.
Religion, Jesus.
We touched religion.
Islam.
We touch everything here that we probably shouldn't, and we're happy all billions of you guys are watching. This is going to be our biggest episode. So stick around, grab some popcorn, hang out with your friends, bring your family over.
Your in-laws.
Your in-laws. Bring them all over to the TV right now. If you have like a smart TV, you know one of those TVs with that are smart.
Yeah.
You get one of those ones with the YouTube's already connected, and you know what? You're subscribed to the show already. So, just bring your whole family in and make it a night. It's like watching Lord of the Rings, the extended edition.
Deep cut.
Deep cut. We don't hold bars. We don't hold any bars. Mr. Frodo.
The blackness.
I can't even do it because my voice is all fucked up right now. But yeah, so that's the show today. We're excited to have you along for the ride. This is Below the Trees.
Terrible first.
First and only one.
We'll make it work.
Oh man, there's stuff to work with there.
Yeah.
We just gotta keep going until you don't.
The wheels have officially fallen off.